I wish when I was in my early 20s that I had somebody yank me by the head and say, Asia, you need these tips to be critical for growth in your 20s, okay? I'm talking about financial, educational, self-love, relationships, all of the above. I really wish I had these tips like as soon as I went out to college, right? In the first half of my 20s, I made a lot of mistakes. I was making a lot of money. I had no money. Got 2 degrees. I couldn't find a job for a long time. I lived in the big city. I had to move back home. So I feel like I'm definitely more than qualified to talk about all these tips that you should know before the age of 25. And when you know better, you do better. And now that I'm 26, I'm correcting everything that I did wrong in my early 20s. So I'm gonna give it to you raw, unfiltered, and uncut, like I'm your big sis, okay? So if you wanna know what the 10 tips are that every woman should know before the age of 25, then keep on watching. Hey beautiful, it's your girl Asia Lamaya, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. This video is very dear to my heart. Like I said, I wish I knew a lot of these tips, and throughout my 20s I had to figure this out on my own and learn it the hard way by making a lot of mistakes. So hopefully today in this video you learn a thing or two. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into tip number 1. So tip number 1 that I have is to live below your means, okay? And avoid credit card debt. Establish financial independency now, okay? Not a minute later, not a second late. Please establish financial independency. I feel like one reason I put this on my list is because after I got out of college, I did all that, right? So my job had a 401k, it matched 4% what I put in. I had an emergency fund, and then I had got into credit cards. And I was just like swiper happy. I don't know, but I loved, it was my psychology with money, and I just love swiping my card. Ended up getting in a lot of credit card debt. Thank God that I'm credit card debt free, but I had to go through all that, and I was just like, Asia, why are you swiping your card? Why are you swiper happy? Then, you know, it was just another tip I'm gonna get into later, but who you surround yourself with and how they see money can kind of also rub off on you. You know, I was having friends that like to party, like to go out, like to drink. I then too found myself going to party, going to turn up, going to drink. And I'm like, Asia girl, you're not even a drinker like that. Chill, relax. But establishing financial independency, y'all, is so important. I feel like our economy in today's times is hard, okay? So establish financial independency. Every time you get paid, the best tip I can give you is that every time you get paid, every time you earn income, put money to the side for yourself. Pay yourself 10%. That's a rule of thumb that I always stick by, but put 10% back every paycheck that you have. And this is a way of you, once you pay yourself, establish an emergency fund. Look into high yield savings accounts. These are ways to increase financial stability. Plus, it's nothing like having your own, right? Really, every woman in their 20s needs this tip, but honestly, y'all, like there's nothing like having your own. Establishing financial independency now while you're young, by the time you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you're gonna see that money be invested so good and the rate of return is gonna be so high. Like, girl, you're gonna be balling, okay? And that's the goal. That's what we want. We want financial independency, financial security now. Stay away from credit card debt if you can. If you're gonna use a credit card, I recommend using 30% utilization. That means whatever limit you have on your credit card. For example, if you have a $1,000 limit, I would use no more than $300. That's 30%, because sometimes banks, when you get these credit cards and they see that you're spending more than 30%, even if you have the funds to pay, sometimes in some instances they can still pull down your credit score. So make sure that you're only doing 30%. That's what I recommend. I did a lot of things good financially in my early 20s, but I also up a lot. So I'm telling you to establish it now. Pay yourself, avoid credit card debt, use 30%, and live below your means. Just because you have it doesn't mean you should get it. So learn the 50-30-20 rule. There's a lot of different budgeting ways, and I can spend hours on this topic because I did start off as a finance major and I was a certified peer mentor at my college, UNT, Go Me Green. So I think I know a little bit about money, you know what I mean? But we're not here, this is not a money topic, but this is my rule number one for young people in their 20s so that they can thrive later on in life financially. My next tip that I have is your personal brand is important. How you show up for yourself is critical. It's critical to your brand. It's critical when you're trying to get your foot in the door at a new company and showing up for yourself. What are examples of that? How you dress, how you speak, how do you carry yourself out in public? Do you have integrity? When no one's looking, are you still doing the right thing? I feel like your character and your brand can take you so far. It doesn't matter if you don't have that degree. It doesn't even matter sometimes who you know, but how you interact with people, even if you don't know them. They're like, oh, I don't know her, but I remember I left my purse at the gym and she brought it up to the front desk and everything was still intact, and you know, she's a trustworthy person. Things like that, like people will like look out for you. People always think about that. When you pop up in somebody's mind, your personal brand should be positive. You don't want somebody to be like, oh my gosh, I saw her at the red light twerking on them headlights. I don't think she's a good fit for this position. You know what I mean? If you want to develop and be around bosses, be around young queens who got a good head on their shoulders, be around people who motivate you and people who you aspire to be like, well, your personal brand has to be on and popping. Honesty, trustworthy, loyal. You have to show these things in people so that your character, your brand can take you places that a degree can't. You never know how God works, how God uses people to work in mysterious ways. But because your character is always on point, because you're never bothered by what people gotta say, because you always carry yourself with class and poise, that's gonna come back to you tenfold. So your personal brand, how you carry yourself, how you speak to others, the tone that you use is always important, and it should always be on point. The number 3 tip that I have is to love and date yourself as long as you can in your 20s. I feel like just like the financial tip, I can spend hours on this topic, but I'm gonna try to keep it cute and short and to the point. Y'all, your 20s are for mistakes. Your 20s are like, you're still a baby, but you're an adult. So you're learning what life has to offer. You're learning how to live alone. You're learning about bills. You're learning about credit cards, financial dependency. You're learning about what interests that you have as an individual. Trying to do that, as well as trying to hang out with friends, trying to have a boyfriend, trying to be with your family, trying to go to college. It is a lot, okay? I wish that this was like engraved in my head, because I was always the type of woman that I had to be underneath somebody to feel loved and appreciated. When I'm like, I got a 4.0 GPA in school, president of this organization, I'm getting this award, I'm getting that award, I'm like, what I need you for? That sounds kind of harsh, but really in my 20s, I was on and popping, and I was that girl that was in that on and off again relationship, and it really kind of, it in a way tarnished my personal brand, because people knew that I was associated with this person, and I was one way and he was a completely different, the opposite way. And so his actions were a reflection of me, and I wish I would have took that time to myself just to focus on me, know what I like, know what I dislike. You're not gonna get this time back. If you don't have no kids, don't have no kids, baby. Focus on you, focus on your craft, take yourself out. Stop waiting for some raggedy daggedy man to do it. Take yourself out to the movies, buy yourself flowers. What you want someone to do for you, do for yourself. You have to show up for yourself how you want someone to show up for you. If you're half-stepping with yourself, how can you want and ask a man to do all these things, but you're not doing it for yourself? Do as much as you can while you're young, because one, you're not gonna get this time back again. Self-love is the best love. Use your 20s for that. Utilize being single as long as possible. The next tip that I have is do not share your goals and dreams with anybody. I mean, this one is kind of just straight to the point. Just sometimes it's best to be quiet than to run your mouth. I had to learn the hard way with when you open up that door for other people's opinions, and you're so geeked and excited about something that you really want to do or something you really are interested in learning. When you open up that door for opinions and people start to place self-doubt in you, and then now you're second guessing like, well damn, should I really should I really go to college? Should I really start this business? Should I really move away? Like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, yes, do all of those things, because why? You wanted to do that for yourself. I was the type of person where, like, if somebody said the opposite of what I was feeling or thinking about, like, my dreams, keyword my, then I would just have a lot of self-doubt, and I would still push through, but I would always have like that person's like reasoning or the way that they saw things in my head, and it always like interfered with what I truly felt with myself. So just don't tell people what you got going on. In the words of Kendrick Lamar, he said sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. So literally do that. The next tip that I have, I feel like this is very common, but y'all, health is wealth. Understanding mental health, understanding your physical health, and take care of that. Prioritize self-care. Drink your water. Bodies are like 60% of water. Drink water. Eat your fruits and vegetables. After I had my daughter, I started to understand the importance of my health. A lot of things have been kind of like started acting wonky, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get this in line real quick. So please incorporate it, because I feel like as your body is getting older, especially after you have kids, like, you can't play around with your health. Take your vitamins and your mental health as well. Y'all, there's so many resources out there. Journal, work out, go to therapy, go to counseling. Like, there's so much out there. Read books, y'all. Also a study that said what you have in your gut is also connected to your mental health. So if you're filling yourself up with a double cheeseburger, cheese fries, tacos, if you're not prioritizing more good than the bad food, it's just gonna lead to high cholesterol, high blood pressure, extra fat, and you're gonna get to the point where you don't feel good about yourself. And I remember last thing on this, I saw someone on YouTube, I don't know if it was a title of her thumbnail or her cover, but she was like, stop eating like we have free healthcare in America. When I saw that, my jaw dropped. I was like, girl, you clocked me. Okay, so ladies, take care of your health, your overall health, not just physical, but mental as well, emotionally, all of that. Make sure you're healthy on the highest level as you can be in every area, so that you as a person can thrive. The next tip that I have is to develop a hobby and never stop learning. Y'all, I feel like in your early 20s, it's the best time to discover who you are, learn about yourself, grow, tap into things, tap into cooking, tap into painting, tap into roller skating, traveling. There's so much to do, especially like if you're like in one of the top big cities like Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Miami, LA, like Nashville. Like, I feel like there's a lot of resources in these really big cities, Chicago, you know, for young people to, you know, tap into new hobbies. And then like once you like start getting in your career and stuff, you want to have like a creative outlet. That's what I say. For me, and my creative outlet is YouTube. I love creating content, sharing things with other like-minded women. For you, your creative expression could be roller skating or painting, or something that you have to like put time into. I feel like that's a great hobby. There's so many hobbies to learn and do, and it gives you another creative outlet, and it really does help with your mental health as well. When you're having bad days, you have something to look forward to. Like, okay, let me push through work so I can go to like my pole dancing class later, or my roller skating class, or my cooking class, or whatever. Like, just do something that interests you, and then that also gives you a sense to like build a community with other like-minded people who are doing the same thing that you love. So it's a win-win for both ways. The next tip that I have is that it's okay to fail and repivot. Once you fail, you learn a life lesson, and then that's going to be with you, and that you can, something that like how I'm passing down what I know, you're going to be able to sit down with your younger sister, with your daughter, with your friends, and tell them life lessons that you experienced. So don't be afraid to fail in your 20s. That's what your 20s are. I feel like specifically the earlier half of your 20s are meant for failing. Some people might look at it like your 20s in general. I feel like at a certain age in your 20s, like, okay, you don't already been through that, so what lesson did we learn? You know what I mean? It's okay to fail more than once, but we need to make sure that we're taking valuable lessons each time that we fail, so if it happens again, we can make a better decision for a different outcome so that we don't fail. For example, like myself, I graduated, got a nice job, moved to the big city. I thought I was having it all. I thought I was on and popping. But one decision caused me to fail, and that made me a single mother. And I thought I was gonna end up in a homeless shelter. and I had to move back to my hometown, and I kind of had to start over from scratch with a child. To a lot of people, that was a failure. To me, I deemed that as a failure, but it was actually a valuable lesson that I learned in how to view people when it comes to romantic relationships. It taught me how to be better and wise with my money, because now it's not all about me, it's about my child. So I learned a lot of valuable lessons in that. I couldn't believe that I failed, but like I said, I learned a lot of life lessons. It's okay to fail, but learn from your mistakes. The next tip that I have is to get up early and always make your bed. Studies show that if you make up your bed, I think you're like more than 100 times more likely to become a millionaire. It's something because, like, who wants to always make up their bed every day? It's easy to get up, start your day, brush your teeth, do your skincare, put on clothes, work out, meditate, whatever, and go about your business. But when you have to stop and make up your bed, that creates discipline, that creates a schedule, that creates a routine. And a lot of people don't like that. But a lot of people that are millionaires are very structured. They're scheduled. They have routines. They have things in place that, like, it has to be done. And getting up early also, before like the rest of the world, it gives you enough time to meditate, to tackle tasks, do things that you can do early before everybody gets up. So when everybody gets up and when everybody's on about, well, you done already did pretty much. And I feel like for me, I can feel a difference in my mental state when I get up early versus sleeping in late. Now, me being a mom, I really wish that I could just sleep in bed till like 9 o'clock, but that never happens. My daughter gets up with the birds, so. But anyways, I see a difference when I get up early. There's a reason why millionaires get up at 4 or 5 o'clock. You know, the stock market is now open. You sleeping away, but the stock market is open. It's time to get cracking. It's time to make moves. It's time to check emails. You know, it's time to meditate, journal, stretch, get our day, be intentional about our day, I should say. So getting up early between the time frame 5 or 6, even 7. If you're like, I can't do 5 or 6, even 7, like, that's really good. Gives you a head start on your day. And like I said, I noticed an increase in my mental health, and so try it out and see how it works for you. The next tip that I have is don't be scared to invest in yourself. And I kind of talked about this a little bit, but yeah, don't be scared to invest yourself. It took me a long time to invest in me because I was scared of failure, which I already talked about. But all of those things really do kind of tie together. Investing in yourself is basically you putting your foot down and proving to you that you can do it. I can be a YouTuber. I can be a dancer. I can be a makeup artist. I can be a hairstylist. When you invest in yourself, don't ever think that you won't get that back, because what you learn is more valuable than money. And once you do, like, get a great skill down and you do invest in yourself, y'all, the money's gonna come. The opportunities are gonna come. To perfect your craft and hone in on that and focus. So don't be scared to take an opportunity and bet on yourself. I wish I would have heard that more when I was in my younger 20s, is bet on you, invest in you. Really understand you. Take pride in who you are and what you want to do, and stand on that. Don't let nobody's opinions and other stuff come in between it. Like, nah, stand on what you want to do. The last and final tip that I have is that birds of a feather flock together, honey. Community and who you surround yourself with has to be like-minded. I was that type of friend that had like friends that were like total opposite of me, and I was just like, you're a cool person, but what am I doing hanging out with you? Like, what? And a lot of times too, like I said, I remember how I talked about like my ex-boyfriend, how he was really opposite to me and a lot of his actions reflected onto me. Well, it's the same way when you have your friends. People say, you know, don't judge, but we're people. We judge you when we first see you. We judge. I mean, you guys looked at my thumbnail and decided if you want to click on it or not. You judged it. You know, you have to look at if it was interesting or not. And that's the same way we are when we have a community of people around us. We're gonna be looking at who you hanging around with, who's in your circle, life in general. you really do want to make sure that you are careful about who's in your circle. And as you get older, you'll realize that you want people in your circle who has connections. You want people in your circle who can help you get to the next level. You want people that can bless you. You want people that are going to strengthen what you already bring to the table or add more to it. So you are who you surround yourself with, and you want to make sure that your community, the people that are around you, are a reflection of you as well. I hope I said something today that you haven't heard before, or something that I just touched on that made you be like, maybe I could do this a little bit better. You know, that's really what I created this video for. Because by the age of 25, I feel like, okay, we learned our lessons, we failed a little bit, we done dibbled and dabbled a little bit into adulthood. What lessons can I take away, and how can I transform the next 5 or 6 years in my 20s that I have left to be a better woman? So by the time I'm in my 30s, oh my gosh, I'm flourishing and I'm thriving. So I hope that I said something to kind of get you thinking about that. If you're also in your 20s or early 20s and I didn't say something that you're familiar with, leave a comment down below and tell me some other tips, you know, that you learned along the way in your 20s or in your early 20s. But thank you so much if you watched this video all the way to the end. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button for more related content videos. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me, and thank you for watching this video again. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.